What's going on, guys? Today we're working on the fuel filler neck. The filler neck is leaking around the bottom. I think there's a hole and there's also a lot of rust around it. This is like the next thing that's stopping me from driving this car. I can't put any gas in it without it leaking out, and it drips like immediately.
So we're taking off the fuel filler neck here so that I can temporarily patch it. So this is the rear wheel. I've taken the tire off and we're gonna remove this fender liner, this plastic. There's about 3 bolts that I can see. They're all town nails. There's one right here, this one right here, and there's one in the top there. So they are 10 mil, so we're just gonna remove that now. Oh, and there's one more bolt here.
Here's some pictures I took. This one showing from the wheel well. You can see it's very saturated, and this picture is from underneath the car. It's really bad. This is a picture of the pipe that connects the filler neck to the tank, and this is the side that was connected to the filler neck, and you can see around the rim of it, it is covered in rust. There's no wonder this thing wasn't holding a seal at all. So I don't have another pipe. I had to reuse this one, but I managed to clean out all of this rust, these very big chunks of it. Don't even know how this even happens.
While I was down here, I've removed the pipe, it's out, but I noticed that my tank is leaking as well, which is very unfortunate. If you just have a look, you can see where the pipe connects. There's a spot right next to it that's a little rusty, and gas is just very slowly seeping out of there, and you can tell by the shininess of that one area it's slid over to the side and it's dripping really slowly. So we're going to fix that today, as well as the pipe, by using we're going to sand that area down. I have my various sandpapers here, and we are going to patch it with some JB Weld. Alright guys, it's a bit later. I've sanded this down as much as I can. So this is where the fuel filler neck attaches to onto the tank, and I will try to get closer, but it's hard to tell because the light's making it shine, but it's too dark to see if I turn the light off. But I'll try putting a small arrow or a circle. But the gas is just seeping through very slowly through a few spots. There's no like visible hole. It's not very obvious. So now that it's sanded, I used like 60 grit sandpaper, by the way. Now that that's been sanded down, we're gonna clean it off with this degreaser and wipe it with some those towel things. And then what we're going to be using to patch is this stuff right here. So this is JB Weld tank weld. This is specifically for gas tanks. You don't want to use like the regular one that you have to mix the liquids, because that's not great for stuff that's wet. And this is what you want to use for this sort of application. I was a bit skeptical using this stuff, but every review I read said that this stuff worked. So, and it's a cheap option. So this is the product out of the packet. So how you use this is you just cut off a small piece, however big amount you need, and you knead it between your fingers until it's a solid color. That's how you know it's mixed well, and you can get a lot of black on your fingers, so you should probably wear gloves. And it gets quite tacky as well. So then, place it onto the tank, and it's on there pretty good. I made sure that the area closer to the hole is pretty flat, so it won't get in the way of the rubber hose that goes on here. So now we're just going to let this dry, it says like 5 something hours to cure, but it's really cold, so I'm gonna leave it on for a few days before I decide I'm gonna paint this afterwards, just because I don't want that bare metal to start rusting. So, but it should be okay for just a few days. Okay guys, it's a few days later and I touched it and it is solid and it's totally dry, so that's good. That means the leak's been covered up. And I've taped up the hole here because we're gonna cover up this we're gonna paint this bare metal with this is what I'm using. I know it's not like the most, like the best thing, because it's gonna be into the car and probably gonna get rock chips and stuff, but this is just what I could get right now. So it'll stop the small rust hopefully and keep that bare metal from rusting away. And I'll just keep an eye on this. Oh wow, the spray's pretty thick. So that's the first layer. It's running a little bit, but that's okay. It's pretty tough to paint under the car. So here we have two different fuel filters, fuel filler necks for the Celica. On the left is the one that came out of the car, and oh shoot, I messed up. The one on the left is the one that I got from a junkyard, and the one on the right is the one that came out of the car. Now they look pretty similar in condition. They're both pretty rusty, but the one I got from the junkyard is in much better shape. Oh, you can see that all these lines are intact. Unlike on this one, the metal is super just gone. It's crumbling away. You can see here it's flaking off. It's crumbling. I could pinch this if I wanted to. It would just disintegrate. So we're going to be using this in our car. I decided to use one from a junkyard because it's just a lot more cost effective. We're doing things on a budget here. A new one of these, I can only find it from Toyota directly, and it was about $250. And I got this from the junkyard for $9 instead. So if I can get this to work, this is definitely worth it. So what we're going to do here is I'm not going to put this directly in the car. I'm going to sand it all down as best as I can and touch this up with some rust-proof paint, as well as patch any small holes that are in this thing. I don't think there's any in the main tubing, which is this. This is the tube where the gas goes through, and these are supposed to be like vents for the fumes that they go to the charcoal box, I think it's what it's called. One of these do have a small crack on them, but that's okay, we can fix that. Unlike these, I was going to patch this one up, but it's too broken. Yeah. So I've painted the new piece, the new used piece, and here's a comparison to the old one. Something I should mention is that when you're taking this off, there's a bolt here, here, and there's one more here that you have to take off the car. On my car, there's the bracket here was rusted, so I didn't have to take it off. And when I took this off at the junkyard, I just cut the bracket as well, because it's a very hard to reach area, so something to keep in mind. So now we're going to install this new piece onto the car. So I have it loosely in place now. So the way I did this was I put the thin lines in first to go behind this wire through here. And the easiest way, my flashlight died, but yeah, so now I'm gonna have it in a generic area. Now I'm gonna put it in place, bolt it up, and put all the hoses together. I'll show you with the old one. was to like place it like this, put in the thin lines, and then slowly wiggle it through and then twist it around. Okay guys, it's the next morning. The piece is installed. I didn't put on the cover that goes here, that little fender liner, because I just wanted to check if everything was okay. And so far, you know, this is where it was leaking from before, and it's totally dry. I left a piece of cardboard underneath the night after I put in some gas, and it's dry, no gas on it. Doesn't smell like there's any gas on it either, so I think that's totally fixed. So that's gonna be the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Successful install. And this is, yeah. See you next time.